One of the biggest changes in my approach to shopping for my wardrobe was when I had an epiphany around where I spent my wardrobe budget, and that I should be spending more money on the things that I wore the most. Logically, this just makes sense. It means that we can come away with a high quality piece that is going to withstand more robust wear and tear. And I thought today I could share with you some of the luxury purchases that I felt been truly worth the splurge. And I do want to share a slight caveat here that luxury does not mean high-end designers. Luxury means something that feels special to you, something that feels luxurious to you, and that doesn't always have to come with a super high price point. I am excited to be partnering with IDYL on today's videos, and I'm going to share more about them later, but I want to get into the very first point, which is good quality, well-made leather shoes. And this is something that I've placed a lot of stock in, especially as someone with wider feet and a bunion that I've had since I was a teenager. So I've long understood the importance of having shoes that are comfortable, that do not pinch. And while I was in my early 20s, I might have kind of ignored all the signs of uncomfortable shoes. I've definitely learned my lesson. But not only that, I want to seek out shoes that add something special to my outfit, especially as someone whose style does lean more on the minimal end of the spectrum. So I'm not opposed to a quirky shoe. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll probably be well familiar with my banana sandals, which are admittedly too narrow for me, but they're very comfortable and my daughter gets so much joy out of them. When I asked her to pick shoes for me, they were the ones that she immediately thought of. We have my Charlotte Olympia kitty flats, which I've owned 2 pairs of at this point, and they have just been a lifelong love and something that I think transcends the trend of it. And I also have a really great pair of shoes from Tory Burch, which have this pierced element to them, which feel really different and add this kind of more edgy subtext to an outfit. But these shoes all have one thing in common, is that they're well made using good quality materials. And actually I would say probably my favorite brand for shoes right now is IDYL. They have a particular style of ballet flats and low pumps, which are made using the softest leather, and I will recommend them to anybody who has wide feet. I'm going to show you on screen. I'll have them linked in the description box in case you'd like to go check them out. They truly are just so beyond good. Definitely something that I will not hesitate to splurge on because our feet have to take us everywhere. Something you may know about me is that I don't tend to covet designer handbags. I have a small rotation, but I actually reach for them less than my mid-tier bags. And the thing that really sets them apart is actually the silhouette. The fact that these bags that I am spending on, that I'm quite happy to buy, they really do have a point of difference in my eye, and that's what makes them unique, and it adds a lot of value to my outfits. I'm thinking about how I can bring in another dimension, another silhouette, some interesting shape, some texture into my look. I did want to highlight a couple of bags from my own wardrobe. So the Acne Mini Masubi bag, which I coveted for about 2 years before I finally bit the bullet. I was waiting for the perfect shade of camel. For me, it is the origami-esque sculptural style of the sides and also just the shape itself. It kind of has an organic feel to it too, because it is a little bit more rounded on the edges, and it's a really generous size inside in terms of the capacity. Then one of my more recent purchases was this beautiful woven leather bag from Dragon Diffusion. I totally get the hype now. The woven leather adds this really impactful dose of texture to an outfit. I also was really focusing on the strap length too. I wanted something that would fit comfortably over the shoulder, and I think with any bag, especially one that you are spending more on, you need to be thinking about all of these different components. 1, how it's going to wear and tear over time. 2, how it's going to function for your lifestyle. 3, whether the actual details of the bag, the design elements that you love, also work in harmony with how you like to wear and use your bags. The next thing I'm happy to splurge on is designer denim, which feels like an about face for me, because I know, and I've said so many times, that you don't need to spend here because the high street does denim very well. My most expensive pair of jeans come from Kate, but I also really love Totem for denim, which I've been wearing for years. Brands like A Goldie do excellent denim. I'm also loving Henny. Their Valentina jeans are 100% worth the hype, but also you've got your trusty brands like Levi's, who really are the pioneers of denim. And while I would say that that is more of an affordable price point, it's definitely a luxury for many, and it is really durable, sturdy, hard-wearing denim that I don't think you can go past. Obviously the spectrum can scale up as much as your budget allows, but I think just spending that little bit more on a great pair of jeans is something that you will not regret. The reason being that if you are someone who lives more of a casual lifestyle, you reach for them often, you want something that is going to last you years rather than 1 year. Because I can say, as someone who used to wear the Topshop skinny jeans, I'd wear those for 6 months and then they'd have a hole in the knee and need to be replaced. Whereas I know with my more expensive jeans, like my Totem ones, I wore those for 4 years and they were still immaculate. So spending on denim, I definitely think has its merits. Another area of my wardrobe I'll happily splurge on are diamonds and solid gold jewelry, because I want something that is going to last my lifetime, my children's lifetime, their children's lifetime. I love the idea of these really special pieces becoming heirlooms for my kids, my grandchildren, if I am lucky to have them in my future. And I wanted to introduce you to IDYL, a jewelry brand that sells real diamonds and solid gold pieces at fair prices. IDYL is based out of Antwerp in Belgium, which is the diamond capital of the world. And one of the things that I really love is their modular design. I think that this is so unique and it really offers you so many options to curate and personalize your jewelry. Every single piece is made using solid 14 karat gold, which is 100% traceable, and the diamonds are lab-grown diamonds, meaning that they are conflict-free and entirely sustainable. And I really appreciate the level of detail they have on their website. You've got the 4 C's: clarity, cut, color, and carat. There's the size, and you can also find out the weight of your pieces too. I especially love their story, how it's a family-run business. It was co-founded by Ornella Ciso and her brother. Her father is a diamond expert and he will check the diamonds for quality, and her mother also helps with packing orders, which I think is really sweet. And I have to say, the unboxing experience is the epitome of luxury. I was not quite prepared for how special it was to open up a parcel from IDYL and just experience the magic of their diamonds and solid gold pieces. So I picked out a few pieces. So we have the medium diamond studs. There are a few different sizes here, but I did want something that was a little bit heftier on the ear. And I've paired that using the modular system with the Lucia crawler, which has 5 diamonds that just hug the earlobe. And I think you can see how brilliantly they sparkle and shine in the sun. I'm also wearing the solid gold chain with the Rio charm. And again, this really just does dazzle, and it has just such a bright, clear sparkle. It's unlike anything else. One other really fabulous detail about IDYL is that they have this amazing loyalty club. So if you are planning on making a purchase, ensure that you sign up, because every purchase you make converts into points which you can then use to save on future orders. Perfect if you want to build up your collection in a slow and considered way over time. If something sparkly from IDYL caught your eye, I do have a discount code so that you can save on your order. I am going to put the details on screen and in the description box below, along with links to all of the items that I shared today. Thank you so much to IDYL for partnering with me on this part of the video. Alternating back to clothing, knitwear is somewhere where I will happily splurge and really get something that feels quite special. And there are a few things that I tend to look out for. Number one is that it must be a natural fiber. I really love my cashmere knits, but wool knits are also so beautiful and special. I think we often put cashmere up on a pedestal up here, and we forget that there are different types of wool, and some are just as plush feeling on the hand as a cashmere. And if you can really afford it, vicuna is just the gold standard. I also like to look out for elevated details in the design. So I'm not going to go out and spend oodles and oodles of money on a basic cashmere crew or a basic crew neck sweater that is designed to be very slim fit, because I know that there are so many great affordable options. And when I did my cashmere crew review all those years ago, the one that did win out over all else was a really affordable one rather than more expensive. So I'm seeking out a silhouette that is slightly more pushed, that feels a little bit special, and maybe it has a tactile quality to it as well beyond the fluffiness. So one of my wardrobe that I absolutely love is from Everlane, and this is actually a very similar cut to their alpaca crew, which you'll know that I adore, but it's in a cashmere blend, so it just makes it feel that little bit more luxurious than the alpaca, because it is so soft, plush, not itchy at all, which I know that the alpaca can tickle ever so slightly. The things that drew me into this is the fact that it's got the kind of cocooned sleeve. So you have this really interesting design element there, even though it's a little bit more subtle, and it also has the rib texture too. You will notice a little bit of pilling initially with any wool knit, and I highly recommend investing in a sweater rake or some sort of wool comb over a fabric shaver, because while the fabric shaver is easier and it's going to be less time intensive at the start, you're just cutting the fibers as opposed to brushing out the short fibers, which is really what we want to remove, because over time you'll find that it actually contributes to the amount of maintenance that you need to do to upkeep your knits. And it could even be a cotton linen or a silk blend knit that is the thing that feels so luxurious to you and like that special treat for your wardrobe. And understanding what it is that you're seeking out, I think, is really going to be quite valuable. And also if those design details are the important thing, if it's the color or if it's just the way a knit feels on the body. And this is definitely a broader discussion that I had in my minute detail over on my Substack if you have been following along with my kind of quest to figure out if the Rose Ophelia knit is as good as everyone says it is. I do also want to say that there are brands that offer more affordable knitwear. I have a beautiful boyfriend style sweater from Quince, which I love, and a girlfriend of mine who is just so knowledgeable when it comes to fabrics, how they drape. I mean, she interned for Alexander McQueen over 20 years ago. She felt that knit and she agreed it was absolutely beautiful, and she, like me, could only just discern that there was a bit of a difference between the Jenny Kane cocoon cardigan and the Quince one. So a reminder, good quality does come at every price, and it's understanding what that sense of luxury means to you. A good belt can be an absolute outfit maker. It can really set the tone for your overall look. It can bring in texture. It can also really define the waist and add in that sense of polish. And I have just one non-negotiable, and that is 100% leather. So a good quality belt could come in at $50. You might be able to find a really incredible vintage one that has held up over years and years, which I think speaks back to that point of getting a leather belt. But there are so many great options out there. I have a really fun one from Frankie's shop, which is a double buckle style, and this just adds a really big impactful element. There's a brand called, is it Dehanche or Dehanche? They do the most phenomenal belts. You'll see a lot of those studded belts which kind of add that sense of adornment around the waist. I just think you can have so much fun with this, and it is something that is considered a classic piece, but you can really get experimental with the actual details of it. Listen, you don't need me to remind you that I think good quality outerwear is something that we should be splurging on, spending more of our budget on. It, to me, is a luxury to have something that feels really beautiful against the skin, and it often becomes a huge part of our outfit in the wintertime, especially if you live somewhere particularly cold. My personal favorite fabrication blend is 90% wool and 10% cashmere, because it does add this real luxurious quality to the fabric, feels nice and smooth against the hand and not itchy at all. And I think that that's part of what I'm seeking out, is being cocooned in luxury when it is cold. It's also going to keep you very warm and insulated from the cold as well. My personal favorite comes from Facade Pattern. It's a Balmacan coat, and I've had it for I think 3, maybe coming on 4 years now, and it has just done me so well. It is consistently my most worn coat every single winter, and I expect to see that continue over the years. I just think that that long length really works too. And that's definitely something that I would look at, is the length of your coat and where you like it to hit. A longer coat is arguably going to be more practical, but when it comes to transitional season coats, I like something that hits below the hip. And again, I do seek out natural fibers. I really like things that have a little bit more structure to them, a little bit more of a robust nature, like my Cezanne Gabbana coat, which I continue to espouse the great qualities of, and it's definitely a really underrated piece from the brand. But that is a hemp blend, and it's really quite thick and durable. But also for blazers, I'm looking at wool, because that is going to be something that feels really nice and comfortable. Usually more of a worsted wool, so that it has that nice smooth feel on the hand. Another key consideration here is lining and the role that it plays. So for example, my Facade Pattern coat is lined, that adds an additional layer of insulation, but my Gabbana jacket from Cezanne is unlined. And I think that part of that has to do with the stiffness and the structure of the jacket, and also it's actually very warm, and it does a great job of repelling and protecting against the wind. If we're really thinking about the item of clothing that we wear the most, there's really only one answer. It is underwear. And this is definitely a luxury to buy yourself new underwear. And I think it's something we often neglect. I know I have definitely been very guilty of this. And now I take the time to see when my underwear has stretched out, if it is starting to become a little bit thin, and I will replace it, update it with fresh sets of knickers. I think also that in itself feels like quite a luxurious moment, even if they are on the more inexpensive end of the spectrum. And it kind of almost in a way feels like an act of self-love, of self-care, because I'm thinking about myself and also the garments that I'm putting on first before anything else. And there really is a lot to be said for wearing a well-fitting bra, and getting yourself fitted is probably one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself. You might want to do this every year or every couple of years, especially as our bodies change. But my favorite brand for knickers is Raey. I've said this before, but I think they're very comfortable. In addition to Jockey, I really like the high-rise ones. And then I have recently been wearing a really nice bra that is so comfortable, soft cut, because I don't have a lot going on from negative underwear, and that has just been really beautiful. I also loved the Mame Kotoguchi ones for Uniqlo, but unfortunately that was a limited edition collaboration, but those in itself all felt like a bit of a treat. Lonely lingerie is really good too. The final luxury for me that I think is worth the splurge are kind of basic but special tops. And this is something I dismissed for a really long time. And once I started actually spending that money and getting those tops that were very much an everyday piece, but that had slight design details that kind of set them apart from a singlet like what I've got on now, I really understood the value, the power that had for styling. And I have two examples from my wardrobe. Of course, there are many more, but two of the more recent ones include this top from Harris Tapper, which wraps across the body and cinches in at the waist. It really creates a stunning feminine shape, but the nylon fabrication feels quite modern, and it's also very easy to care for. And this is definitely a running theme when I'm adding things into my wardrobe. They need to be reasonably carefree. I also have this lovely one-shoulder top from Deji Studios, and it's funny because I met up with a girlfriend for a coffee and I had no idea that she owned this top, but she rocked in. She was wearing the black version, and then I said, I've got that too, and she said, yeah, I've got the white one at home as well. So truly brilliant. And if you are someone who kind of wants to add in that stylistic element even on the weekends, a great choice. And it works well as a vacation wardrobe piece too. I love when I can find that versatility in items that I'm buying. That again just feels like I've kind of hit the jackpot in a way. So finding tops that can really function as a t-shirt or a singlet, especially in summer wardrobes, because I think this is where the difficulty truly lies, can be a real boon to your wardrobe. They can really enhance your outfits and kind of give you a lot more range and versatility. So those are the luxury purchases that I have made for my own wardrobe that have really felt like they have been worth the splurge, like they were worth the money, and things that I would readily and happily dash out and buy again. I would really love to know what items in your own wardrobe have been worth the splurge. Can you tell me down in the comment section below, especially if it was a piece that really met or even exceeded your expectations. And don't forget that if you would like to check out IDYL, you can do so using my links down in the description box below. Thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. If you enjoyed watching this, I would love if you could give the video a thumbs up. It really helps me with the algorithm, and I will see you next week with a brand new one. See you soon. Bye.